What hidden potential values would best serve Teq Super Trunks? How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We're back for another Dokkan battle video. In today's video, many of you guys had asked for us to push out a little early the hidden potential guide for the Dokkan Festival Super Trunks. For those of you that did pull him, you may be wondering what might be the best potential for him. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to review the unit and talk a little bit about the various scenarios you might find the unit in and which hidden potentials might best serve those scenarios. So let's start by looking at the character, right? He is Mastered Evolution, Android Cell Saga Category Key, 3 HP attack and defense, 170%. He gets an additional 30% to characters who are on Rapid Growth or Earthbred Fighters. This is a pretty half-decent leader skill. Really helps out the Android Cell Saga Super side of things, because before it was primarily limited to Super Saiyans, which, I mean, there is a lot of in that category, but it did leave out certain others, right? The Android Cell Saga lead allows you to run an Android's character and a Gohan together, so that way you can actually transform him when the time comes, right? So it's a pretty decent leader skill. Mastered Evolution gives you access to things like the Z Duo and even Golden Frieza to a degree if you wanted to throw him on the team. So he's got some work around there for helping him. All right, his passive is Key 2, attack and defense 150%, plus an additional attack and defense 100%. He launches an additional attack with a 70% chance of becoming a super attack and a 50% chance to guard all attacks when there are 3 or more Android Cell Saga category allies on the team. He also gets an additional attack defense 70% when performing a super attack. He has effective against all types when facing a cell, and transforms when he performs 5 attacks. He does have an active skill that can be activated on the 3rd turn from the start of battle as long as he is above 60%. That active skill is very helpful in that not only does it raise his attack, but it disables the enemy action, which can buy you some time to help get him transformed. Once he is transformed, let's see if we can pull it up here. Here we are. So once he is transformed after performing 5 attacks, he's now Key 4 and attack defense 300%. He's launching additional super attacks, and he guards all attacks for 3 turns. He has an additional attack defense by 200%. The more HP, the greater the boost. And he has an additional attack defense 100% when performing a super attack. He can stun the enemies, although by the time you get to his transformation, that's really not possible in most cases. He has an active skill that is available from the moment he appears, and as long as you are above 60% HP, and it does the same thing. It raises attack temporarily, but it acts as a free Ghost Usher and turns all hits into critical hits, right? So Trunks has a lot going for him, right? His biggest drawback is when in that base form, that 50% chance to guard. If that doesn't proc, things can get a little dangerous. But where that can be made up for him is in the hidden potential system. So this guy is a tech unit, meaning if we scroll all the way down here on the Dokkan wiki to the hidden potential values, as a tech unit, he is going to be more apt to have critical hit, which is something you want on him, right? Outside of that active skill turn, although most cases you're probably finishing within that active skill turn, he doesn't have any built-in crit until that active skill. So something to be aware of when using him. He doesn't have any built-in crit, and he doesn't have any in his base form, which you may or may not want, right? Not having it in his base form helps him get more hits in because you're not killing the enemy as quickly. But if you were to go full crit, he would have 20, which equates to about a 40% in his hidden potential system. I don't recommend crit being his full option. In fact, I think you should go the opposite, which only nets you a 30% gain, but that is combo attack. This allows him to attack twice and gives him an extra 50% chance to proc an additional super. This is important, especially if you've only got him at 55%. You are gonna need to put some additionals into him, because the more additionals you have in him, the easier it is to proc that additional super in order to get his transformation sooner. It also helps when he's in his Super Trunks state and you use the Ghost Usher. Now you have guaranteed critical hits, you have a guaranteed extra super, you have the possibility of launching another super. I honestly believe that that is the best route to go. Maximize additional attack. This will net him, right? So if you've got him at 55%, obviously the max you're going to be able to get is 7 in his combo attack, which is going to equate to about an additional 14%. If you've got him at 69%, right, the max you can get is, I think, 11, which would net you an extra 22% at fully rainbow, or at least 79%. 2 dupes, 15%, netting him an extra 30%. That extra 30% will be very, very helpful compared to other routes you can go. The crit's not going to be that helpful because chances are by the time you get Super Trunks, like I said, you are performing guaranteed critical hits. I do not think that dodge is the best course of action for him. He is an offensive unit. The best way to make a advantage of his offense in this case is additional attack. Dodge, if you have the full dodge, meaning you have both dupes, right? This is only an option if you have 2 dupes. You could put 15 in him, and unlike the others where it's a double, it's only a net 15% gain, which, I mean, that's pretty risky. It's even more risky than his 50% chance to guard. So personally, I would take the offense over that. I would rather have the additional 20 to 30% offense than a 15% chance to dodge. But that, I mean, that's it's personal preference there. It depends on what situations you are more likely to have. Realistically, with the guard procced, he's still going to be taking damage a little bit more than others, which is why, I mean, I don't think there is an argument for evasion, but realistically, you're going to want that combo attack to get him out of that danger quicker. Right? If we just think like some of the basic bosses, like the previous hardest hitting boss had a 430k attack stat. So if your guard procs there, and let's say you hadn't transformed yet, right? Trunks only has about 120k defense without the additional without super attacking first. So, I mean, he's still going to take a bit of damage from there, even more so from fights like Fuse and Moss, right? So the idea behind him is play him out that first turn, get those additionals in, so that way he can transform, because with 500k, he's still going to take 100k damage from that normal or from that AoE. He's going to take a lot of damage here pre-transformed, from a normal from this guy, especially if it's post super on this guy. Remember, he does raise his attack on super, so that is something you should consider. So I just wanted to throw a little bit of out there about what he's up against and why I think additionals helps him out more, because those extra supers, right, he is raising attack and defense on his supers. Those extra supers, if you've got him in slot 2, will protect him in conjunction with his guard, whereas, I mean, you're less likely to proc the dodge that will protect you. So again, at the end of the day, I think additionals, maybe sub evasion might be okay. You don't really need the critical hit, although it could be helpful in the early phases when he doesn't have any guaranteed crit. So but again, additionals is probably the way to go for this guy. So anyways, guys, that is the video. If you like the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And in the comments down below, let me know, what build did you go for with Teq Super Trunks? I believe additionals is the way to go, but I'm curious to see what you guys are thinking and how you built your Super Trunks. Let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and aloha.